record button, and there we go. What's up, people? Yu-Gi-Oh! Master 88 here, back with another episode of the Linux Report for Tuesday, September 4th, 2018. Now, Enlightenment has limits in Bodhi Linux. Bodhi Linux is an alternative to traditional Linux OSs that can change your desktop user experience. It is one of a very few Linux distros using Moksha, a forked version of the Enlightenment desktop. Enlightenment is a compositing window manager and desktop shell. It is radically different from other lightweight interface shells such as XFCE and LXDE. Its roots go back to 1996, when it started out as a project to build a window manager for X11. That project has started to transition to Wayland. It has also evolved to handle mobile, wearable, and TV user interface requirements. It is still viable in Tizen and Android offshoot platform. The Android offshoot platform. The Bodhi community forked Enlightenment 17 several years ago. In response to the lack of development progress from the Enlightenment project, the Enlightenment 19 release is relatively heavy and not suitable for older hardware, according to Bodhi developers. That gave rise to Moksha, actively maintained and updated with the latest Enlightenment libraries. Bodhi is highly molecular with high levels of customization and choice of themes. This latest release brings a post-modern look and updated Ubuntu Core 18.04 to the fast desktop. The current Moksha desktop displays refinements over earlier releases. For example, it has a new default wallpaper, new themes for the login and boot sequence, and a Bodhi-branded version of the popular ARC GTK theme. Let's read more about this. Moksha is very customizable. It has many features and options that contribute to its futuristic design and innovative desktop UI. This gives the forked Enlightenment desktop an advantage over traditional lightweight Linux desktops compared to choices such as GNOME, Cinnamon, and KDE Plasma. While the Moksha desktop is light on resources, it has a modern look. When creator Jeff Hoagland launched the Bodhi OS 7 years ago, the distro used Enlightenment. In fact, the name Bodhi in Sanskrit means enlightened or the one with sense. Hence, its developers called Bodhi the Enlightenment Linux distribution. That moniker stuck. The community earlier this month released Bodhi Linux 5.0 as the 5th major release of the distro. Consistent affair. This is my fourth review of Bodhi in its 7-year growing cycle. From my earliest hands-on assessment, Bodhi procured my interest. It was different and surprisingly agile for a lightweight desktop, even in its infancy. It impressed me. The developers pushed the original concept to be more than impressive. The change in direction turned Moksha into a more functional desktop environment. When the original Enlightenment release, Moksha was more adaptable to home use or office computing without a dumbed-down user interface. Consider Bodhi's limited developmental releases. You would expect considerable changes with each major release. However, version 5.0.0 lacks a lengthy changelog, with Hoagland points out in his release notes that especially the case were updates to the Moksha desktop. That results from the consistent stability the developers built into the Bodhi platform. Bodhi has been stable and well-performed for the last few releases. Other than the under-the-hood upgrades sampled from the Ubuntu 18.04 base, changes in this latest Bodhi release are design elements that improve its aesthetics. Package design. The Enlightened Linux distro takes a minimalist approach to computing. It does not give users an overstuffed collection of software that they will never see. Instead, it offers a molecular architecture. Out of the box, the basic computing tools are present. What does not come bundled with the installation ISO, you can add from the Bodhi repository or the Synaptics package manager. If you do not like a particular look out of the box, you can change it easily. Bodhi comes in 3 flavors for the one desktop distro. All 3 choices maintain the minimalist design. The options are standard release, legacy release, and app pack release. Typically, you get essential software only out of the box. These include a terminal, web browser, text editor, and the PC MinFM file manager. Mainly minimal. The standard edition is geared towards typical 64 desktop, laptop, and workstation computers, but it is extremely minimalist by design. The software and theme options are very limited, so be prepared to do a lot of package installing to suit your computing needs. The Legacy Edition works on older 32-bit architecture. The Legacy ISO gives you an older Linux kernel optimized for hardware that is 15 or more years old. This kernel lacks the PAE extension, which is not supported on many older systems. The software and the theme limitations are bare bones, just like the 64-bit standard edition. The app pack installation is the most complete of the 3 options. You can use it as a full-featured live CD or base install. It comes with additional themes and applications installed by default. The range of software and theme choices is still strictly minimal. The goal is to keep the software bloat as low as possible. If you do more than surf the web with a browser, use email, and handle light office tasks, you will be installing your must-have packages. How molecular design works. Bodhi Linux has system tray icons. That element is fairly standard. With Moksha, they are gadgets and molecules. Gadgets are small applications that either provide system information or perform a specific action. Gadgets are highly configurable by right-clicking the gadget on the screen. Molecules are the traditional icons. Gadgets are more like a mini control center. You can monitor a lot of things, including screen brightness, system temperature, and CPU speed. A gadget inventory is provided, but most are not loaded by default to keep Bodhi Linux as lightweight as possible. Shelves house gadgets. The desktop structure allows more than one shelf on the desktop, so you can have different shelves on different virtual desktops. The arrangement is similar to the activities feature in KDE Plasma and GNOME. Each shelf can house its own unquote set of gadgets and application launchers. You can locate shelves at the middle or a corner of any screen edge. This lets you get better use out of different size display screens. To configure shelves, right-click them and choose Shelf Settings from the context menu. You can set stacking, position, size, and more. You can locate shelves on a specific virtual desktop or on all desktops. The plus factor. This is where the Ibar Gadget comes into play. It is an application dock that houses launchers for frequently used applications. It also tracks them with a small orange dot. Bodhi's Ibar does what a traditional panel bar does, plus a bit more. It serves as a dock for running applications. It also can be a very useful tool. Hover the mouse over one of these marked icons to reveal its launcher menu. Other applications show a thumbnail of the application and its title label. If more than one instance of an application has been launched, both will appear in this menu. Click on one of these to bring its window into focus. Also, you can use it to restore a minimized window or windows hidden behind other apps. Getting personal. Another desktop feature not found elsewhere is the personal application launcher for desktop files that you create yourself. These are hidden files stored in your home directory at local/share/applications. These folder names begin per period. To see them, open the file manager and press Ctrl+H. Personal application launchers are very useful. You can create specialized on and off switches to make various desktop applications functionable with a single click. Function available for single click. They are also handy for launching a command line application without having to open a terminal manually and enter the command phrase. It is easy to learn the pattern for writing your personalized launchers. Open application launchers come bundled in the installation at user//applications in the text editor. Many applications are launched with an argument, often %u or %f. These two arguments control the number of files that can be passed to the application. For instance, %f opens one file, %u opens multiple files. Enlightened highlights. One of Bodhi's more useful user interface traits is the left-click feature anywhere on the desktop that pops up the menu. It is very convenient. A more traditional menu button is also present on the Bodhi panel bar. This bar can be on any edge of the screen. Right-clicking on the panel opens configuration settings. The orientation setting provides a list of placement options for the panel bar. In addition to standard key bindings for keyboard shortcuts, Bodhi Linux has an extensive edge binding setting. You can set up to 8 edge bindings You can select a desired behavior or desktop action for each edge location. That makes one pointer gesture for each edge and one for each corner. By default, no edge bindings are set. Find in the setting in main menu setting panel input edge bindings. Disappointing system tools. Bodhi's App Center is one of my biggest disappointments with this distro. It is not uncommon for a smaller or newer distro to forego its own applications repository in favor of more general purposes software's warehouses using the Synaptic Package Manager. Given the developers' fervor for minimizing software to avoid application bloat, more emphasis should be placed on providing meaningful software. The Application Center does not rise to this task. You can add and remove Bodhi-specific packages with the App Center. This is a web-based software installation tool. When you open the supposed software application, Bodhi loads the lightweight default Midori web browser to install applications directly from the Bodhi Linux App Center. That repository resembles a fire sale 2 days after closing. So you must do most serious application installing through the Synaptic application. The Enlightenment File Manager, EFM, is tweaked to work within Bodhi Linux to add files and launchers to the desktop by moving the desired files and launchers to the desktop folder located in the home directory. You can opt out of displaying desktop icons at main menu, settings, all files, file manager under the display tab. You can add other file managers and designate other default applications for more traditional functionality. Go to main menu settings, all apps, default applications. More woeful basics. You face a similar trade-off in handling basic system maintenance. The EEP Dater app updates the system components despite its listing in the main menu under Application System Tools as System Updater. It merely launches a rebranded terminal window to automate the command line interface commands with the esudo app. Basically, the esudo app is pretty much like gksudo of GNOME, or KDE sudo of the KDE Plasma desktop. Like the Application Center, the EEP Dater app is not a single application to update the system. Even the Swami control panel leaves so much to wish for. As a really functional system settings tool, Swami only has a few categories in its control panel in order to gain access to other system settings. You must return to the system settings portion of the Cindy main menu to hunt around for other options. Even the swimming control panel leaves. Wait a minute. Oh, here we go. Considering that the UI should be more intuitive within the Enlightenment design, all of this easily creates a sense of confusion. One such other control panel is the Everything option. It seems that what is not controlled in other configuration panels may be covered with the Everything app. One of the more confusing aspects of Bodhi Linux is the appearance of seemingly new things that are a little more than a naming game. They are not new features that do not exist in other distros, and only their names are different. For instance, terminology is the terminal application for entering the command line instructions. It is more user-friendly, however, with some handy menus. And basically, this is just his final comments here. Well, anyway, people, I hope you enjoyed this article. Tune in next Tuesday for more Linux Report Tuesday. But until then, this is Yu-Gi-Oh! Master 88 saying see you later.